Good morning, everyone. It's so lovely to see you, so lovely to see all of you on Zoom. And I need to turn off my computer audio. I'm the one that gets so mad when anyone does that. Good morning and welcome and happy Mother's Day to all of you who identify as a mother. I'm the Reverend Christine Dance, and it is an honor to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix. A very special welcome to any of you who are joining us for the first time. Any first-timers here? I met a couple of you as you came in. Welcome, welcome. We're so glad that you are here. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, and knowing that issues of justice and equity shape everything that we do. A very special welcome to all of you on Zoom, and I would love for everyone here to turn around and say hello to the folks on Zoom, and they are waving back on screen, I promise you. They are. It's so lovely to see you all. Dan Hunn's got both hands. Myra, Jean, so lovely to see you all. I especially want to welcome any of you who are coming to our congregation today because of your anger and commitment to the leaked non-final Supreme Court decision on abortion. Just to be very clear, the Unitarian Universalist Association and this minister are strongly committed to the right to choose what is right for each one of our bodies. This includes, but is not limited to, the decision of if, when, and whether to bear a child. We mourn for all of those who will be affected by this decision and what it may mean for any decisions to come. We particularly think of the people who will be most adversely affected by this decision, those who are poor, who are marginalized, who are in rural areas, and for all of those folks, it is already a challenge to get access for all of their medical needs. And I want to give out a shout to all of our older folks. All of those of you who fought for Roe v. Wade the first time over 50 years ago. I know that this is a very demoralizing time for you, and you didn't think you were going to have to do this again, right? We remain committed to the fight for the right to choose, the right to privacy over your bodily autonomy. And since this is all done in the name of religion, it is imperative that we do this in religious community. And we state strongly and definitively, you do not speak for us. For all of you here, we welcome your grief, your anger, and your commitment this morning. With that, I would like to invite our newest members from our Coming of Age class. So Yosana, Owen, Jojo, Lalana, Annalise, I welcome you to come up and light the chalice. Yosana, you know how to do this. And I light this chalice in the name of love and life, fueled by anger and a deep yearning for justice. May it burn as a beacon. There you go. I got it. How does one blow it out when one is wearing a mask? Thank you. Turn around so that they can all see you if you want. You're going to get lots of chances to applaud them. Thank you very much. In the name of, and you may sit down if you want. Thank you. In the name of love and life and fueled by an anger and a deep yearning for justice, we light this chalice. May it burn as a beacon on the path to liberation and shine as a witness to how far we have to go. Join me in the words of our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant. And I want to give a special shout out. We have two of our solid folks up in the sound booth. You can take down that, but we've got Smoot on sound, Smoot Carl Mitchell, and Dale Fisher doing cameras. Both of our folks are out sick, and we do not want them here if they are sick, and we've got these wonderful volunteers, so thank you all. You're doing perfectly.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Benji Messer, UUCP's music director. Today is the last Sunday in our spring music series of guest artists. I know. After that, don't worry, we are reactivating our member-led groups. We do have exciting music over the summer, but it won't be quite as many guests coming in. So I'm very excited to introduce you to our guest artist for today, the tabla player Shreyas Iyer. Some of you may remember Shreyas from a concert and a service here in our sanctuary in 2017. He grew up in India and fell in love as a young child with the tabla, the twin hand drums of Hindustani classical music. And he now performs here in Phoenix and also leads the Da School of Music, which teaches the tabla's rich history of rhythms and melodies and compositions. I was not on camera, but you have been hearing me on the stream. So I'm just saying hello, and now introducing Shreyas. Oh, please.
Good morning, everyone, and wish you all a very happy Mother's Day once more. I would like to start the performance with a dedication to Mother Earth and the native people who have been taking care of the land we're on and who've been progressively getting all the rivers and everything so that we can enjoy the time we're here. So this rhythm that I'm going to play with you, and you're all going to help me with it, is inspired by a Hawaiian song. And so I'll start the rhythm, and I'll have you guys join me.
Good morning. Hey. Look, I'm in a dead zone of light there. My name is Sam Kirkland. I'm proud and pleased to be your worship associate today. Everything going on at UUCP can be found at our website, phoenixuu.org, and our weekly newsletter, Compass. On Monday, May 18th, there will be a memorial service for longtime beloved UUCP member Billy Butler. It will be held at noon at the chapel at the Beatitudes campus. We welcome all who loved Billy to join us there. For May 2020, our Share the Plate partner is Phoenix Local Organizing Committee, a grassroots organization that has worked to eliminate poverty, inequity, and injustice for our Black community in Phoenix since 2015. One of their strategies is promoting food sovereignty. Phoenix Local Organizing Committee is seeking to address the 43 food deserts in Phoenix by 1, empowering and training the community to grow their own food, 2, distributing food harvested to those most vulnerable to food insecurity, and 3, providing resources for community members to start and maintain their own agricultural businesses. Our financial support can help Phoenix Local Organizing Committee to purchase the tools they need to do this important work and expand their hands-on training opportunities in the community. You can text UUCP STP, as in Share the Plate, to 73256. You can donate through the website or you can send a check. And if you're paying your pledge to UUCP, please indicate that on your check. If you are here in person, this is a totally acceptable time to bust out your phone and text UUCP STP to 73256. There are also collection boxes, and they so cute, sitting back there on the table. They so cute. There are collection boxes at the entrances, but don't let the cuteness fool you, okay? Put some money in there, all right? If you're here in person, okay, never mind, all right. There are also collection boxes at the entrances with QR codes to scan. Please put your money in there as you come in or go out. For all that you give to our congregation and our community partner, we are so grateful.
Hello. I thought this was a good day to go with a t-shirt and not a stole. What do you guys think? Appropriate t-shirt? I feel terribly underdressed, I have to tell you, but it feels good. So this is the time I would like to invite all of the children up because this is together time, and I see a whole bunch of kids. And for everyone with kids here, please know, kids are always welcome in this space. We welcome their noises, we welcome their running arounds, we welcome all of their things. Is anyone going to come up? Any kids going to come up? You have double roles in it, Yosana, for that. Yeah. Excellent. Come on up. Hi. So those of you who aren't becoming new members, why don't you come and sit on the stairs right behind us right here. Wonderful. Ah, big hugs. Wonderful. Come and welcome. It's so good to see you all. Welcome. So this is time for a very important ritual in the life of our congregation. We are welcoming 14 new members to our community. Right? So new members, I welcome you to come and stand right along here. And yes, that means some of you who just sat down. You are both youth and new members, but you're playing dual roles here. Everyone else, new members, come on up. Welcome. So this is a very exciting class of new members, and you can line up however you want. It's so you, right? It can be a straight line, it can be a bunch, it can be curves, it can be whatever you want, as long as we can see you all. This is a very exciting class of new members. This group has folks who are already very involved in the congregation. The Palumbo family are involved with children's ministry, worship associate, almost everything already, right? Audrey Atherton just took over our greeter role. Our youth folks, Owen is a worship associate. Jojo has been in so many roles here in the congregation. And we also have brand new folks who have found us just after the pandemic joining as well. It's a very diverse group of folks. We also have in this class, we have 6 of our coming of age students who have been in the coming of age program all year and are making, yes. And it is in the bylaws of this congregation that if you have gone through coming of age and choose to become a member, that you are welcome to be a member. In the full voting status, we are very, very much welcome you. And I want to tell you all that next week is a celebration of the coming of age, all of the coming of age young adults, and the amazing work that they have done. If you want to cry, if you want to be moved, all of those, please come next week and celebrate them. So in this group, I am thrilled to welcome, and you can wave if you want, Audrey Atherton, Chandani Palumbo, Annalise Forster, Lalana Forster, Scott Forster, Owen Lifshitz, Gita Palumbo, Gia Palumbo, who's not here this morning, John Palumbo, Yasana Palumbo, Karen Rosner, Hank Gupton, Gupton, thank you, and Susan Gupton, and Jojo Watson. Woo! Okay.
Hi, my name is Bunny Hodis, and I'm the president of the Board of Trustees of this congregation. It's an honor to welcome our newest members and celebrate their decision to join our community. They have signed our membership book and have made the commitment of time, talent, and treasure to our congregation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brad Chapman, and on behalf of the membership team, we welcome all our new members. We encourage you to share with us your creative thoughts, your life experiences, your questions, and your dreams about how we can make this supportive yet challenging community together. We're glad you're here.
Okay, so it is a joy to welcome each of you as a member. Becoming a member of the congregation is an important step, but it is only one step, the first step. I encourage you to grow your religious life and to share your truly unique gifts. New members, you have little words. Does everyone have them? Here, oh, they all got hung up. And you could look at somebody else's too. So these are the words of commitment to membership. We will, so the question to you is, will you journey together with us, sharing the joys and responsibilities of membership? That was enthusiastic. Okay, so if there is anyone who are members of this congregation here, I invite you to stand as you are willing and able. Folks at home, I invite you to stand if you are members of this congregation. I can see you. I can see whether you're standing or not. Members of the congregation, we ask you to say the words after this. Whether you are home or in person, we wish for you to stand and say it. And folks at home, you can also say yes into the chat. Members of UUCP, will you reach out to these people in friendship, including them in our activities and fellowship? Will you walk with them on their religious journey? Will you be open to their unique gifts and perspectives? And will you extend a warm welcome to each of them, remembering when you were once a new member?
You're supposed to do that. I know.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm
You were good.
well.
You did fine.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now this is the part for the children. Do you have a slinky? Do you have a slinky? So children, if you are willing, do you want to stand up for this part? You've got a very important role in this. And whether you have been here for a long time or you're just visiting, your voices are important here too. So children, these are some of our newest members here. They're brand new as well. Well, some of them have been here for a long time, but they're brand new as members, right? They, like you, represent our future and our possibility. Will you receive them into our community, showing them how things work here or figuring it out together with them and encouraging their involvement and growth? So if you are welcome here, kids here and online, if so, say yes, nice and loudly. What do you think? You want me to do it with you? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes! Good job. Thank you very much. You can sit down. Thank you for that important role. So as we welcome you, new members, we give you each a rose. I like to use roses in both our new member and our child dedication rituals, but the roses are slightly different. For the child dedication rose, we remove the thorns, representing how we want to protect the children during their formation. But for new members, we keep the thorns on. Please consider that a warning as you're holding the roses. I know, right? Because the work of community is challenging and beautiful. We do not promise that there won't be bumps in the road, but we do promise that we will be here to do it together. Ours is a shared ministry to help each other find meaning in life and to build a just and compassionate life and world, working to fulfill the vision and mission of this congregation. So as we say your name, maybe you can come. Bunny, would you be willing to hand out the roses? And come get your rose, and please wave to folks. They have already signed the book right here, which is very important. So I present to you Audrey Atherton. Yay! Welcome. Yeah, you can sit down, yes. Annalise Forster. These are in alphabetical order, I think. Welcome. Yay. Awesome. Lalana Forster. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. You're so cool. Thank you. Scott Forster. Hank Gupton and Susan Gupton, you can come up together. Welcome, welcome, we're so glad you're here. Thank you. Owen Lifshitz. Do you want a hug? Welcome. And we have the Palumbo family, Gita, Giovanna, John, Yosana, and Chandani. And we're going to give them, I know, we're going to give them 3 roses. Yes, they're going to share. Yeah, you can have one more. Yes. Welcome, John. Welcome. And we have Karen Rosner. Welcome, Karen. Welcome. Okay, we can do that right afterwards. Wonderful. And last but not least, only because your last name starts with a W, JoJo Watson. Yeah, good job, JoJo. Awesome. Thank you all. Can we give a great round of applause to all of our new members? And those in the chat, I hope you are giving a big hello and welcome as well. Okay, so kids, this is all about for you now, because you are welcome at this point to stay in the service with your adult type people, but you are also welcome to go with Claire. See the cool ball that Claire's got? So Claire has a sign-in thing, right? The parents can sign in. We need to make sure that we've got your emergency contact number, and then we've got some religious education programming for you all. We're so glad you're here, and enjoy. And parents, they will be in the, it's complicated, but just ask somebody. If you go through 2 walls, they're right there. So they're right by the annex, classrooms. If you don't know where that is, please ask somebody and they will point you. Have fun. Thank you. Thank you all very much for helping with the new member ceremony.
So the next piece I'm going to play, and the pieces after these are all connected, although they're segmented out. So the piece I'm going to play is called Peshkar, which literally means introduction. We've already been introduced, but this is formal introduction in the Hindustani language. And whatever I'm going to play is completely improvised. I've not rehearsed it. And we all are creating this music together because I'm reading your energy and I'm playing along with it. So we'll see what happens.
Wow, that was amazing. Just settling into that, letting it feel it through our bodies. Thank you so much. It is the time in our service that we share the joys and sorrows of our community. Being together, it is good to share and to support each other and to connect. Folks on Zoom, please feel free to enter any of your joys and sorrows into the chat. Please put your name at the front so I know who it is. And if you want it not to be said out loud, please use the word private in front. Those in person, there are some joys and sorrow cards in the back that I've got right here. Let's take a deep breath, connect with our bodies, put our feet on the floor, and take a moment as we hold the joys and sorrows in this community. Of course, we need to talk about the leaked ruling, which we talked about earlier, but I would be remiss to not bring that up as often as we can. Let us hold in our hearts all of the grief and the anger and the commitment that comes from that. From our online folks, from Amy Miskell, Joy, my son Daniel has accepted a full-time position as a licensed associate counselor. Oh, very wonderful. Joan Gale is very proud of Lalana and all of the new members. You'll get to hear about mentors and of our coming of age folks, but that was very sweet, Joan. From our in-person folks, we also have a lot of cheers for our new members today. And McCall says, my family and friends are in town physically or virtually to help me celebrate their help in me completing my bachelor's degree. And McCall, congratulations. It's a huge accomplishment, and we're so very, very proud of you. And we have another one, Jacob Hayes, where I saw you here. Can you give a big wave? From Tony Harrison, says, we are so excited to share that Jacob starts medical school tomorrow. So the youth of this congregation have great promise. Good luck, and we're so proud of you as well. From Andy, a joy. Andy has a surgery in 4 days that they have been waiting for. Andy, we are sending you lots of love and energy and quick healing for that surgery. Carrie Lifshitz is exceedingly proud of my mentee, Yosana, and my son, Owen. She mentioned Yosana first, Owen. I don't know what to say about that. And so not every mentor has to say we're very, very proud of our coming of age folks. And again, we are going to get to celebrate them next week. Jan Kaplan says, I'm so proud of my coming of age student from 35 years ago. She is running for her first public office in Rochester, Minnesota. Yay. We'll see if there's anything else. Seeing some cheers from the folks online. Sam, you want to take the meditation from here?
Before I do it,
Thank you.
okay.
You go.
You can.
Oh, okay. I'll boom my mic.
Now I invite you into a time of meditation and prayer. Center yourselves. Put your feet on the floor. If you wish to settle in place, take a few deep breaths. Today is Mother's Day. It is a day that is sometimes sweet, sometimes bittersweet. For Reverend Christine, this year it's bittersweet, so I'm doing the Mother's Day meditation for her and in honor of her mother. I want to acknowledge all the amazing mothers in this congregation, as well as the amazing mothers many of you had. But I also want to acknowledge that for many people, this holiday is filled with emotions that are complicated and sometimes even painful. So here is a blessing for you. It is adapted from the words of Linda Susan Ulrich. For all the mothers and mother figures, the grandmothers, aunts, and extended family members who mother, the soon-to-be mothers, the wish they were mothers, the never wanted to be mothers, and the it's complicated mothers. For those who worry about their mothers, and for the mothers who worry about you. The birth mothers, foster mothers, adoptive mothers, stepmothers, the used-to-be dad mothers, and more than one mom mothers. The people who mother in 100 million ways, whether or not they have the title. The single mothers, separated mothers, stay-at-home mothers, unhoused mothers, the grieving mothers, those who grieve their mothers, and those whose grief is complex. For all the communities that mother, and for all who depend on the great mother, you are held and beloved. Join me in a moment of silence. Amen. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe.
This will be a little bit of fast-moving tempo piece that will reflect the sounds of a train. It's called a rela, which is said to reflect the sound of a train, but it depends on the player, so I don't know if I'll do it or not, but
My reflection this morning is entitled, "It's Hard Out Here for a Mother." Or, this is the moment in history, 235 years, that they chose to walk out of a swearing in of a Supreme Court justice. Last month, Ketanji Brown Jackson was sworn in as a Supreme Court Justice of the United States. The first African-American woman ever. This week, rumors began to swirl that the Supreme Court had overturned the landmark decision that gave women the right to choose to terminate an unwanted pregnancy on their own terms. If ever there was a "it was the best of times, it was the worst of times" moment in our history, this is it. So, as I stand before you and take a point of privilege to thank all of the women that have mothered me over the course of my life, I want to say that I get it. I understand that your ability to have autonomy and agency over your health care, your bodies, is as sacrosanct in my mind and as honorable as the UU principles that I affirm. I thank my mother, who raised me to believe truly in women's liberation. I thank my spectacular wife, who models justice and equity in everything we do, from politics to placemats, while maintaining wonderful relationships with our daughters. I thank my oldest daughter, Daryl, for helping me believe so much in the future as she and her husband, Red, raised their daughters. And while this stretch of the marathon is buffeting us with winds of hypocrisy and so much toxic male hubris, during this segment of the marathon, remember that winds of hope and change are also on this marathon's course, and that I've got all you mothers' backs.
I feel better knowing that you've got our backs, Sam. So how many of you have ever seen the Carousel of Progress at Disney World? Anyone? Okay. So I used to live in Orlando, Florida, the home of Disney World. And it's possible that we went on the Carousel of Progress maybe every time we were there, for two main reasons. One, it was air conditioned, and that's important when you live in Florida. And two, it never had a line. Like, it was the only ride that you could find in all of Disney World that didn't have a line. For those of you who don't know the ride, it was first featured at the 1964 World's Fair, and talking about the progress that has come throughout the ages. It has 6 different scenes, and instead of the scenes rotating, the chairs rotate, which is pretty cool. It gets old after like the 4th or 5th one, but it's okay. Each one has the same family, but it has different elements of progress, from electric lights to refrigeration and TV to the present, which was really the 80s, but they're trying to update it, and it has us talking to our ovens and video reality games. Imagine that. So anyone can sing, "There's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day." That's the song as it rotates every time. Okay, so there's a little flashback onto Carousel of Progress. But the whole premise of it, of each milieu, is that the progress is making our lives better. With each generation, it gets better and better and better. And in some ways, that's true. And in some ways, it's not. In most things that we talk about, it's complicated and nuanced. And it is also the final characteristics that we're talking about in our series, our sermon series on white supremacy culture. Tima Akun and I will discuss the ways that I agree. There are some things in the writings that I don't agree with, but Tima Akun says that our cultural assumption that the goal is always to be, do, or get more, or to be, do, or get bigger. This leads to an emphasis of what we can objectively measure, how well we are doing at that being, doing, getting more, and it posits that this is more important and valuable than the quality of our relationships to all living beings, and I would add to our earth. So again, the whole point of Akun's thoughts on these characteristics of white supremacy culture, and my goal of highlighting them this year, is to look at how these characteristics and qualities lead to disconnection from each other and from ourselves and to all things. The antidote to all of these aspects is to lead us away from separation and racism and lead us into reconnection. So exploring these characteristics of white supremacy culture with you all has been my first sermon series here. It's been one of the ways that I tried to live into our board's goal of living into our 8th principle to dismantle the forms of racism and oppression and live into our own wholeness by doing that. We voted on this principle last June, and it's important for us to not just say, okay, we did a thing, yay, us, look at us, whoo. We actually have to do some of the work to say, what does that mean now? To accountably dismantle. What are the actions that we have to do? We've been living into the discomfort of this, of how we make it our worldview. Now, I want to acknowledge that some of you are probably very glad that this sermon series is over. You're tired of hearing about this. You may be waiting for me to be done talking about race, and I'll tell you, I'm never going to be done talking about race. But the series will be done. I've also heard from a number of you how much you've enjoyed these series. I've had many conversations where you've remembered different characteristics. Somebody will say like, ooh, that's me being urgency. Oh, here's my white supremacy characteristic of perfectionism coming out. And you've caught yourself, and you've discussed them in your small groups, and you've written to me in emails. You've told me which ones really resonate, and some of you have told me which ones are really not working for you. And that's the thing that I've really enjoyed the most about this series, is that it's created a conversation between us and amongst each other. I am planning a new series next year. It's about how we find the hope of liberation in different world religions. So there's a little sneak peek for next year. The other thing that I've loved about the series is that it's seeped into so many other sermons and services that we've talked about this year. The point of these characteristics is that the antidote of white supremacy is to reconnect with ourselves, with each other, and with all of our nature. It is helping us to undo the harmful elements of our culture that has prioritized production, alienation, and separation. The theme has seeped into services from our water communion and flower communion to Earth Day, and creating a community where we practice that connection as we're feeling relevant, as it is relevant in the world. So let's talk a little bit about this progress is bigger and better. Akun says that the idea shows up in how we define success. Success is always bigger and more. If you have a bigger house, you are more successful. If you grow a bigger business, you are more successful. If you get more awards, that is more successful. We definitely see this in our capitalistic society. It is stated or implied that the goal is to grow, to add staff, create more products, increase revenue. But we also see it in nonprofits and even churches and congregations. The goal is to have more classes, gain more membership, serve more people, regardless of how well we can serve them. Raise more money, regardless of whether that is the right thing to do for the people we're raising with and from, or to gain more power and influence for its own sake. All of this without regard to the organization's mission, especially the people or living beings that the organization is in relationship with. When you have the bigger is better mindset, it doesn't just give value, not even negative value, to the cost of it. It leaves little room to consider the cost in social, emotional, psychic, embodied, or spiritual realms. It doesn't include the cost to human relationships or the cost to our natural environment. Bigger and more and better is steeped in our American and our Western culture. If you look at the history of the United States, you see it in multiple ways. The country was founded on the idea of manifest destiny, that already inhabited lands were meant to be colonized. Colonizers wanted more and more and more and more land. After conquering the native people in the East, they wanted more and more land until the entire country was colonized. Each time a treaty was created, and a shout out to the characteristics of worship of the written word in the treaties, by the way, but it was broken time and time again, and more land was conquered. I want to look at this characteristic in 3 other ways of how it shows up as a part of white supremacy culture. First of all, let's look at the privilege of having more, always more. So I'm going to admit that I have more because of my privilege. I have more because my parents had more. My parents started saving when I was young so that I could go to college, and I had some so that I could afford to put a down payment on a house. I could take risks in my career because I knew I had a family safety net that I could fall on. My ancestors had more, and I have more because I had very few obstacles in getting more. My grandfather took advantage of the GI Bill and got a low-cost loan after World War II, something that black soldiers could not take advantage of. The main wealth that most families had and have, including mine, was their homes. I was never turned away from getting a mortgage or looking in a specific neighborhood like our brown and black neighbors often still are. It was seen positive to accumulate all the things, and my family did, with absolutely no obstacles or policies to stop them. So that's first, the privilege of it. Second of all, we often value those who have progressed more than those who have not, where progress is measured in degrees and grades and money and power and status and material belongings. So let's get specific about this. A higher number of folks who are brown and black work in caring fields, and their lived experiences, wisdom, and knowledge is invisible. It's invisible often, and their careers are seen as less successful as others. I think in this congregation of our professional social workers and teachers and nurses, many of whom have needed to get a master's degree and who still make significantly less and can be valued significantly less than other professions that also require a higher degree. I have less schooling as a minister than some of my teachers' friends do, my social worker friends. And don't even get me started on those who are caring for our older folks, serving our food, cleaning our spaces, and caring for our children. They are underpaid, undervalued, overworked, and the same titles of successful rarely fall in their laps. I am talking about our challenges with capitalism and the exponentially increasing income gap, but ultimately I'm also talking about our worth as humans, which has never been about money that we make. Each and every person has worth, our Unitarian Universalist values tell us. Every person has worth and dignity, and it is our white supremacist culture that has taught us that some humans have more worth than others. The third issue with the bigger is better idea is the impact that it has on our environment. How many more things do we need? How much more space do we need to take up? How much more do we need to consume? How many more things do we need to buy that end up being disposed shortly after? The bigger is better and more is more mindset is truly killing our world. We need less, but that is so contrary to what is told and how we think in our world. I read 13 books on my study lead last week. I just want to say I was feeling very in the category of more is successful. Right? Thank you for seeing the irony of that. Like, I felt very accomplished because I read more books. And so now I'm preaching on this. I just want to note the irony that it's very steeped well in there. But one of them was a book on the history of Phoenix. And over in the book, it was just all about how Phoenix has grown. You know, Phoenix was small, and then it became the 60th largest city, and then it became the 23rd, and over and over it says, and then we were the sixth largest, and the fifth largest. And I keep thinking about when I moved here that everyone wanted to tell me that this was the fifth largest city in the United States. It's almost like there's an inferiority complex, right? Like, if we say we're the fifth largest, it makes us feel more important. Why? Why is that? Like, larger and bigger makes us feel more better? Because is it better that Phoenix is the fifth largest city in the United States? Do we have enough water to support that? Are we growing sustainably with the infrastructure that we need? Are we taking care of the people who are getting kicked out as more people are moving in? We have a massive tent city downtown in the city of Phoenix, and it is going to get bigger because everyone's rents are going up, people's houses are being pulled out from under them as people can sell for more, and the wages aren't going up, and bigger is hurting us. It's hurting us in Phoenix. White supremacy culture makes us look at, is bigger and growing really better? And is it serving all of our folks equally? I would argue that it is not. Now let me bring it a little bit closer to home, maybe uncomfortably so, here at UUCP. In a few weeks, we're going to be presenting a budget that is smaller. It is smaller than we asked for. It's smaller, really, than we need. So I want you to check yourself and see what your reaction is to that, just where it is in your body. Did you go to worry? Did you go to shame? Is it fear? Might be relief? Disappointment? What are the assumptions that we have of how we should be doing more, making more, growing more? And are those healthy for us? Now, I want to tell you, this is a very responsible budget. The Finance Committee, the board, the staff, we are feeling actually hopeful. And we're not going to talk about the specifics now. We'll have lots and lots of meetings to do that. And it isn't really about the actual number. It's our reaction to saying, should we always be growing? Is that always possible? Is being bigger necessarily always better? We believe it's responsible because we are this size in members and in finances that we are right now. And what matters is not the number, but what we do with it. Living into this means that we're prioritizing the relationships and what we're doing with it and the work that matters to us. So this is my challenge to you with this service and with everything that we've discussed in this series. Why do we think like we do? Is it because it's right, or it's because we have been taught by our culture that that's how we should? What is it of our culture that has separated us from each other? What of this culture has taught us that some people are better, more worthy than others? And what is the culture that we actually want to create, to live in, and to project out in the world? For me, it is one where we are truly all equal and worthy. A culture that values each and every single person, that showers each person with love. I want a culture that values our earth and our relationship with it. I want an environment where we look at ourselves and every other person and see the beauty that each and every one of you contain. I want to celebrate that. That is the anti-white supremacist culture, the UUCP culture, the world culture that I hope to create and sustain. So might it be.
Last section, I'm going to play some fixed compositions that are given to us by the masters. And these are fixed because they are, everybody plays the same composition in different ways, so we try to do as much as we can. Also, I would like to introduce you guys to the drums here. These are given to me by my grandmother, who I lost early on this year. And these are really old drums, and I pulled them out today because it's Mother's Day and I wanted to honor her. So they are making an appearance in front of you, so thank you so much. It's a fixed composition. third speech.
So very, very much gratitude, Shreyas, Iyer. Thank you so much for your gift and sharing it with us today. Thank you so much, Dale and Smoot. Bravo, you did it. Woo! An announcement for all of our new members, if you could come up here so we could get a picture, and if anyone didn't sign the book afterwards, we can finish all of those pieces. And a reminder, coffee hour, we will have it online. Sam is going and setting that up now. And also in the patio, there are discussion questions based on today's service that you can have. We hope that you will continue the conversation and in coffee hour afterwards, and get to know some of our new members here. In the meantime, my beloveds, happy Mother's Day, with all of the feelings that comes with it for you. May we remain committed to the work that we have to do for women and reproductive rights, for society in our culture, for making this the beloved community that we are striving to make it be. Go in peace, go in love, go in commitment.